He was one of the Democrats who called on Republicans to rescind the invitation to Kennedy to testify today. Congressman Landsman, thank you for joining us here on the Hill on NewsNation. Does your party have an RFK Jr. problem, Congressman?
No, I don't think so. I think, look, you mentioned earlier that he's polling 14, 15%. If his name was Mark Johnson, he'd be at 0%. I mean, that's part of the issue. And the more you get to know certain people, this is true, I think, for Ron DeSantis, the less popular they become. And I think that's the case for RFK Jr. The more he spends on television, at events, talking about all kinds of things that aren't related to what most people are worried about and working through, they like him less. His numbers go down, and he's not the only one. I mean, this is happening to Ron DeSantis, and it's not. But
Ron DeSantis is polling at 20%, and he's viewed as Ron DeSantis on the Republican side is viewing Congressman at polling at 20%, give or take, and he's viewed as a serious, legitimate threat. RFK Jr. is not that far behind those numbers on the Democratic side.
Yeah, but I think in both cases, again, the more people get to know them, the more people get to know them, the less they like them. There are some people where, the more you get to know them, the more you like them. These two in particular, the more exposure they get, the worse their numbers are.
Congressman, you were one of 102 Democrats who put forth a letter in advance of this hearing to try to make sure that RFK Jr. would not testify. And here's part of the letter that you signed on to. It reads in part, quote, Mr. Kennedy has repeatedly and recently spread vile and dangerous anti-Semitic and anti-Asian conspiracy theories that tarnish his credibility as a witness and must not be legitimized with his appearance before the U.S. Congress, nor given the platform of an official committee hearing to spread his baseless and discriminatory views. When he was testifying today, he essentially addressed those concerns head on. I want you to listen to what he has to say, and I'll get your reaction on the other side.
In my entire life, and why I'm under oath, in my entire life, I have never uttered a phrase that was either racist or anti-Semitic.
That letter uses the words vile, dangerous, anti-Semitic, and discriminatory. Congressman, do you view RFK Jr. as anti-Semitic and racist?
I certainly thought the comments that he made were anti-Semitic, very problematic, and most people do. The idea that he would be then invited, or at least not disinvited, to the United States Congress is beyond me. I don't understand why they had him in the first place, but I have such reverence for this institution. Many of us, most of us do. And the people we serve, and what they want more than anything is for us to focus on them and the things that they're struggling with, which is wages and the cost of what they have to pay for, not the luxury items, but the things that they have to pay for. They're worried about gun violence and all of these other things. And so I suspect for most Americans that hearing was absurd.
Should Joe Biden debate him, Congressman? I don't think so. No, I wouldn't. I mean, so much of it is misinformation. I mean, this was part of the problem with, giving him the platform that he had, which is that, when people are out there providing misinformation about medicine, in this case, vaccines, it is hugely problematic. I mean, it's a public health issue. And, he went overseas, told a bunch of people, don't take this vaccine, and folks lost their lives. So it's, I think we have to take him serious in the sense that he is somebody who is not going to help people, but could very well harm a lot of folks. All right, Congressman Greg Landsman, Democrat, Ohio. Thank you for joining us here on the Hill. Hope you come on back at some point. Thank you, Congressman.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.